It's over, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that still held out hope that Benfica could have, Benfica was still mathematically alive, we finally surrendered the title. We handed over the title to Sporting on a silver platter after a loss at Famalicao by 2-0. We're also going to look ahead to the last game of the season at Stadio Luz, and we'll talk about Otamendi's words, that and much more in another night, another podcast.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero um manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estádio e assustá-los, pá! É isso que eu quero!
Hey now, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Law Benfica podcast, the penultimate episode of the 23-24 season. Next week, we will have our customary keep, sell, loan segment for all of you as we recap the season. With me, as always, Cristiano Oliveira. Como é que é, amigo? Tudo bem?
No, man, you're messing up my bedtime. Messing up my bedtime today, bro. Tem mais nada para fazer que estar aqui a falar do Benfica.
Tens razão, pá, tens razão. Tens razão.
What's going on, Alfredo? What's up, Freddies? Welcome once again to another Benfica podcast. Não se esqueçam, smash the like button.
Yeah.
Agora, vamos calar, vou dormir.
Yeah. With us also tonight, the other Cristiano Liborio. What's happening, brother?
Tá-se bem, pessoal. Boa noite. How's everybody doing? You know, my sleep time's a little bit later than Cristiano, so I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm good.
You feeling energized?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I was down for at least 24 hours after that loss, man. But, you know, I'm back up. Yeah. We're good. We're moving forward. We want to see what this home game is going to bring us this weekend coming up.
Yeah, I'll be curious too. Dave de Oliveira unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight. He's fighting a little bit of a cold, so I hope he gets better soon. But here we are.
Abraço, Dave. Abraço, grande abraço.
Big up, Dave.
Abraços e beijinhos, pá. Não te esqueças do beijinhos.
He's probably worse than I am. I had a 24-hour downer. He's still going after that Sunday game.
Yeah, but on tonight's podcast, we'll look. We're cruising along just like the team, right? We're just waiting for this season to be over and the podcast along with it, and have that much needed rest for all of us, and Cristiano could get all the sleep that he wants. But on tonight's podcast, we are going to look back at the Famalicao game. Look ahead to the Aroca game, which is the last game of the season. At Stadio Luz, last game of the season is Rio Ave up north. But yeah, we do have that final home game this upcoming weekend.
Então, peraí.
Diz lá, Cristiano, diz lá. Ainda bem que acordaste, foda-se.
I mean, somebody has to pay attention or else this podcast vai cair para o buraco, bro.
Pois é verdade, tens razão, pá.
As you were talking,
we are not modeling Benfica this year. Ninguém vai para o buraco, bro. Chill.
As you were talking a minute ago, and you said next week we'll have our much-awaited podcast by Keep Low. For this, it's not even last game of the year. You got to wait until the season's over, bro.
How do you know I want to do that? You're right.
No.
I'm glad you checked me.
I'm thinking in my head like, oh shit, I thought it was 2 games.
You're right.
Okay, it's 1. I'm thinking in my head, só tem um. And now you're like,
you're right, Cristiano.
I'm sitting here half asleep in my cuecas and my warm milk, ready to go to sleep. And I'm like, last game. I'm like,
you know you don't use cuecas when you sleep, dog.
Commando, bro. Commando.
Bro, but how do you know we're not going to pull a Roger Schmidt and do nothing for that last podcast?
Oh.
I mean, because if we were indeed going to pull a Roger Schmidt, we would have done it around January, bro. You know what I mean? It's now May. So we didn't do it before. We're not going to do it now.
Yeah, but in
you know what I mean?
January,
So,
we still had hopes that Sporting was going to be Sporting.
I still had hope Sporting was going to be Sporting this weekend, but unfortunately, Benfica let them off the hook.
Benfica was Benfica.
I just wanted to make them sweat a little bit, but no, but not even. I mean, what an absolute
inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you guys watching, say hello in the chat, man, if you can. I know that a lot of you guys don't participate in the chat, but you're there, and we certainly appreciate that. Diogo Reis, Boris, Manny Valadão, Nick Valadão, and everybody else that's going to
There's very few today.
Very
today
few.
Ninguém quer falar, ninguém quer ouvir.
Isto é falta de tesão, pá, falta de tesão.
I don't blame them. Tá com sono, bro.
Yeah,
I don't blame them.
So let's get going so we could finish this off and Cristiano could go to bed. Cristiano Oliveira.
That's gonna be the go-to. That's a go-to today.
Benfica traveled up north to play Famalicao, who has been doing okay this season. We lined up with the following 11. Trubin was in goal. Auschner, Silva, Otamendi, and Carreras across the back. João Neves and João Mário in the midfield. Di Maria and Neres on the wings. Coxu underneath Leonardo. And again, flavor of the week, Leonardo gets the start. And I thought that he should be getting the start going forward because he is the future of this forward line. I don't think any of us could honestly look at Tankstead and even Artur Cabral and think that we need to build a team around these guys, but certainly Leonardo, with the talent that he has and still young and the margin of progression, is a guy that should be getting all the reps going forward, in my opinion. There's no reason that Cabral can get some minutes also, but for me is Leonardo starting all the way. Tino, who had been doing fantastic, right? He's the guy that balances the team, that closes up the gaps. He gave up Tino for João Mário. For João Neves, which, you want to get João Neves on the field, but obviously Tino is big, especially when you play with Neres and Di Maria, which are guys that don't track back, and we've had millions and millions of conversations about tracking back, so on and so forth. When you don't have anybody that tracks back, you got to have a system in place that's going to make up for those guys not tracking back. And I think that Tino is a big part of that, in a way that he's able to cover ground and he's able to see where the gaps are and get there. Both him and João Neves. João Mário is a guy that's more like a pace setter in that midfield. He sets the rhythms. Am I giving too much to João Mário?
Espera aí. Pá, espera aí, bro. When you said we're going to pull a Roger Schmidt, I thought you were playing, man. I mean, we're 2 games from the final. We're still talking about guys tracking back. We still don't know who track.
No, it's okay.
Listen,
I was giving the example of why Tino should be playing every game.
I don't think Tino should play every game. I don't think anybody in this team besides little Joãozinho should play every game. But yeah, I mean, you make valid points. I'm just trying to be facetious here and try to mess around a bit.
That's a big word.
Which is, at this point, we don't know who tracks back. It's like Roger Schmidt doesn't know who tracks back. You mentioned Marcos Leonardo finally getting a start, and it's just like seeing this and seeing Leonardo play now and stuff. It pisses me off even further because here's the situation. I've been a guy on this podcast that's critiqued the Ghost. Casper for a while, and Casper starting all these important games. Not a guy's got off the bench in 3 straight games, and it just boggles my mind. Like, wait a minute, this guy was crucial for you in these all important games against Sporting, against Porto, in Marseille, at home, and all of a sudden, the guy doesn't even warrant a minute. It's just like, what? Can we get this shit over and done with? Can we just please?
Enigma.
Oh, what enigma? But aquilo para mim é estupidez, bro. Stupidez. There ain't no enigma. Stupidez.
Oh, we're gonna use that word, man. Stupidez. I like it.
Stupidez. É pra fã, sério, man. Por amor de Deus.
Bro, it's just it's been one of those seasons where so many decisions have left us scratching our heads. And look. I hate to beat a dead horse, but you're gonna have to listen to it, right? Us guys without, and I don't know, Cristiano Libori might have a coaching license, but Cristiano and I certainly don't have a coaching license. Us sitting on a couch.
I won a few championships on Football Manager, bro. I'm really good.
I don't know if that counts, bro.
Hey, there's a coach in France that got a job.
Hey man, esports are going to be part of the Olympics, right? Isn't that like one of the things, like the esports?
Yeah, but there's a coach. There's a coach in France that got a job off of being like the best the best football manager out there, and he got himself a job. So maybe it counts a little bit more. So
they also got that guy in Gran Turismo, right? That went to go race cars after playing the video game too.
Yes, yeah. That too, exactly. So, Alfred, maybe I'm onto something. Yeah, maybe I'm onto something, Football Manager.
Chris, I know you have Rui Costa's ears, man. You need to ring him up and say, what the fuck is going on, bro? You need to get
No, I haven't. You're the second person. Actually, Hugo mentioned that to me today. And as I've told you, Alfredo, ever since, I told you this before, ever since he's been appointed, whatever, won the elections to be president, I never reached out. I don't bother.
You lost your number.
No, I don't bother him. Like, the guy's busy. You know what I mean? The last thing
busy with what, dude? Please tell me.
Listen, he's got to make his jantars, his almoços. He's got to show up
smoke his cigarettes.
For the volleyball. There's nothing wrong with that, man. He's got to show up for the volleyball matches and all that stuff. So, a guy's probably got a lot on his plate.
I think it was hilarious that I was watching the volleyball game, which gave Benfica's volleyball men's team the Pentacampeonato. And the first thing after that point, after the final point that gave him the game, that gave him the championship, the first shot is of Rui Costa celebrating, not of the team celebrating, but of Rui Costa celebrating. So go figure that out. Look, we might be nitpicking here, but it is what it is. And sometimes there's little details that give it away. The other one, and I'm sorry, we're getting off on a little bit of a tangent. It was the anniversary of our 1960 or 1961 European Cup, and no mention on Benfica Twitter of that anniversary.
Epá, como tu sabes, naqueles tempos a televisão era preto e branco. So, these kids don't remember.
Everyone was just bummed out, man. It was like when the Twitter and all the social media went down after that Porto game, like everything just shut down.
Yeah,
everything just shut down. They were
blackout.
Blackout. They couldn't turn on the water sprinkler, so they were like, "That's it, social media blackout." We're not mentioning anything else. Bro, I want to mention something, man. Alfredo, you mentioned I almost feel like this is one of the games that he could have presented a team to show us, like, this is going to be the team for next year. And I think aside from João Mário starting, I think there was an attempt at that. I mean, Carrera started.
Well, we didn't have a choice at left back.
Adams again, right. But, man, I don't understand.
Yeah, Morato.
Oh my God!
I'm just saying. Are
you going to be pulling Roger Schmidt's enigmatic strategical substitutions every comment? Is like, isto é uma estupidez.
Stupidez.
But man, like when you put João Mário there in the middle, and you have guys like, let's say, Neres, Coxu, Di Maria, and I'm not even going to mention whoever the striker at this point is, right? Because you're playing with a forward. You're not. I mean, you have a striker. You have no one else up there. Man, those guys are not going to come back and defend, man. They're not going to do it. And especially if our wingbacks, if you're expecting Carreras to make a run up, to cross to cause an imbalance between defense and offense, desequilíbrio, who's going to cover all these spots? João Mário is going to cover on the left side. He's going to track back. No, dude. And it's not going to be Florentino or João Neves or whoever he chooses to start at this point that's going to cover all that ground. It's just not going to happen. So I think we lose right there some sort of coverage and apoyo, like support to the players, where they're second guessing. Man, should I make this run now, or should I hold back? These guys are going to counter on my side. I think it causes that, and I think that all the games that Florentino and Neves played together, I think that they were better games, that we held the midfield down a little bit better. And then my other sub would have been obviously Orange. He would have been my third CDM there in that position. But obviously he's been our Bombeiro this season, and he's been covering all other positions. But I don't think João Mario is a viable substitution or replacement for, and I'm not saying that he's better than them or not, but in his style of play, he's not Florentino and he's not Neves, you know. He's more of a
Chris, at the beginning of the season, I said, and Alfredo will vouch for me, and the Freddies in the chat, I'm pretty sure they recall me screaming and hollering on a podcast here, that Benfica, based on the players on the system, on the roster, I should say, I'm sorry, based on the players on the current roster, I don't understand his insistence on playing in a 4-2-3-1, because that screamed 4-3-3 for me all day long, and I don't. Because then it allows Di Maria and allows the Rafas of the world a little bit more freedom up top, because you're gonna have more guys in the middle, more guys to cover, more guys to defend, and I just don't understand what the heck Roger Schmidt has done. And he just insisted on his formation. He insisted on playing the same system over and over, never really changing anything. But it's just very weird. I disagree a little bit with what you said initially, because it clearly shows that you did not listen to last week's podcast. But Alfredo asked last week if I thought that Roger Schmidt should give these kids a chance. And basically, in essence, in other words, some of these guys were gonna have to prove that they could play and start next year. And to me, it's like, that's why I said I disagree. Not I disagree with how do I put it? With your thought process, but just with the statement that maybe he could field a team that could give you a little bit for us to look forward to next season, which is, if at this point Roger Schmidt, at least with these guys, I'm not going to talk about because there's new guys coming in, but if he doesn't know who we could count on next year at this point or not, I mean, come on, he's been sleeping. You know what I mean? He's literally been sleeping all year. I mean, I don't think there's any guy, with the exception of Carreras. Carreras, I believe, is the only guy that still has a point to prove here, right? Because the decision still has to be made on whether they're going to pick up that option or not. I mean, there's rumors that they've decided to do it, but until it's official, right, until it's confirmed, we don't know. But aside from him, I don't think there's anybody else on this roster that really has much convincing one way or another, convincing that he's going to leave or convincing that he's going to stay. Because I think Roger Schmidt, if he hasn't realized what he has on his hands by now, man, it's pure than anything I was thinking about, the guy sleeping all year long. So,
yeah, but you're saying that who he can count on. I don't even know, man. Looking at sometimes player reactions, comments, stuff that comes out, I don't know who he thinks he can count on.
Maybe count on is the wrong word, but about the guys that he wants to play, because count on, as Alfredo said in his opening monologue, right, that we don't know who's happy, we don't know who's not. At the beginning, right at the beginning, where me and you were quiet, and he said we don't know who's happy or not after the Otamendi comments, right? And it's I mean, at least for me, it's plain as day. I mean, there are a lot of players unhappy. All you got to do, guys, is just go look and rewind the tape, right? And they've been all over social media for a while now. When the team is warming up, guys just sit there and they basically got their hands in their balls and they're stretching their balls and like, it's chilling. Nobody's even putting an effort to warm up. Nobody's because again, they just know that there's only the same 13, 14 guys that play over and over and over. Yep. So again, count on, it was the wrong word, Chris. But in terms of guys that he wants to play in the system, that he'll give playing time to. That's what I was trying to say.
João Mario is not a starter. And I think I explained this last week, is that João Mario is the type of guy that will sit on the bench. He has a very high IQ, football IQ. He's the type of guy that could come in, knows what needs to be done. If the ball needs to be held, if the pace needs to be slowed down, that's the type of guy that you want on a field. He's not a guy that's going to beat people. He's not a guy that's going to do like all these attacking things. But he's a guy that's smart. He knows how to move about the field. He knows how to dictate the pace of the game. But he's not your starter. And I think that Roger Schmidt got it wrong by leaving Tino out. I don't know if there was any issues with Tino, but he played the second half. But look, I didn't think it was that bad of a first half by Benfica. We had that offside goal right in the beginning of the game. We had the Leonardo header at 18th minute. Neres crossbar shot or post. Di Maria shot closing the half. So we had some opportunities, but the thing is that Famalicao was playing with drop lines, and we just couldn't find the pace to get behind the defense or even put balls away. So I didn't think it was a bad first half by Benfica by any means of the imagination, but certainly not that efficient that we've expected from years past. And this year has been a nightmare in terms of efficiency. It almost reminds me of. It's almost like we still have Seferovic on a bench or on this team that we missed that many goals. But second half,
Alfredo, calma.
Voilà.
You wish
True that.
you had Seferovic on this team. Okay, calma.
I would like to have a Mitro glue, man. I feel like he would put a lot of these away.
Oh yeah,
he used to find a way to put the balls away, man.
Yeah, he wasn't too flashy of a player, but he was a finisher. He knew how to finish.
But listen, Alfredo, I think that I agree with you. The first half, and I even think the beginning of the second half. And I talked a little bit with Chris because I called him up Sunday, man. I was PO'd, bro.
You called Chris?
Mad at a couple. Chris called Chris. I was like, Chris. I was PO'd. But I was like, man, the way Roger Smith plays, it's so predictable that I even think that teams like Famalicao, like the Estoril, like they know how we're gonna play. Like they just know how we're gonna play. It becomes almost like easy to defend. Like there's no. Someone told me that they don't think that that Roger Smith said once on an interview. I try to find it that he does not watch tape of the teams that he's gonna play against. Like he doesn't think that it's important to watch tape to review games.
Yeah, that came out after the 5-0 like in Portugal. It's
and I was like, no way. A side of me was like, no way that a coach does. But you know what? I'm like 99% convinced that it must be true because I feel that he focuses so much on the team playing the way he wants them to play that he doesn't look at the opponent and how can we eliminate these aspects of the opponent. And then the opponent knows that there isn't going to be any strategy built to counter. So they just play the regular game and eliminate our attacks and target our weak points.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he's falling. That to me, it just doesn't make sense. Let's say even like since we're on the João Mario thing, man, João Mario has to play with a solid CDM behind him or two CDMs, right? Man, he's playing next to the CDM with another guy playing ahead of him, like in this case, Koksu. He's playing out of position too. He's not excelling where he could excel based even on what he did last year. I mean, but
that's been the story of the season. Players playing out of position, not getting the most out of their potential. Look, it could be a long night if we get going here.
Right.
But certainly,
do you guys think, Alfredo? I asked the question now because normally you ask the question. But do you guys, honestly, and I'm not trying to be funny, but do you guys think that Roger Schmidt is checked out on purpose?
Sabotaging?
Sometimes it does feel like that.
That's what I'm, because of his comments, because of the way, as you guys said, it's like my man's not even trying to.
He doesn't give a shit. It feels.
You think he's saying "F you pay me"?
Yeah. I got contract. I'm not going anywhere.
And now today news came out on Sam TV that he bought a luxury house.
I don't believe that.
In Oeiras or something like that. No, they did.
Portugal is always an extremely good destination, regardless who you are, right?
Yeah,
They better not give that address public, man.
I got a house in Portugal, and I don't get paid by Benfica. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, but there's just touching up on what Liborio said, that Benfica is super predictable, and it's super predictable. Get the ball to Di Maria and wait for Di Maria to do something. That is our style. If you watch games, it's ball on Di Maria and let's see what Di Maria could do. So predictable and easy to defend.
You're at the top of the box. No one shoot from outside the box. Just get the ball to Di Maria wide. He's going to make an awesome cross. someone's going to tap it in. And not taking away from Di Maria, because in all honesty, he was probably a great pickup this year. And he wasn't even a pickup. He came to us, and he was solid. But again, and we talked about this already. I called in that other show and talked about it. He plays too much, man. Does he need to be finishing games? I don't know. Could somebody add to it? Maybe. But he never tried it. You know, he always banked on this consistent inconsistency, if we can say that. And even going with what Cristiano asked about Roger Schmidt having checked out because he makes some questionable things that you're like, no way this guy's like saying. I saw the replays. Did you guys see? First it was only still images, then they showed the actual reel. The whole thing at halftime of him coming to the bench, like Cabral was going to come in and Florentino was going to come in.
They've justified that already, Chris.
They've
justified that already.
Yeah, but man,
that was. I mean, but if
I don't know if it was justified.
I'm not trying to defend the guy. I'm not trying to defend the guy. But
just look at the players' faces, man. Like
no, I know, but Ned has got hurt, and apparently Ned.
I got a theory about that. But go ahead, Chris.
I don't know, man. I don't know if Ned is.
Maybe this. Okay, well, I'm just going by what's official, right? The official word is that Ned was injured, and he had to make a last-second sub. You know what I mean? And like, he wasn't planning.
Chris, you've been you've been in half times and stuff like that. You didn't find out he was injured 5 minutes before the game was not even 5 minutes, like a minute before the game was going to start. He would have came off injured already.
Maybe they'll Macaganeira, man.
No, let me.
All right. That's a more viable reason, like him saying, olha, estamos a uma diarreia aqui do caraças.
Exactly.
Let me give you my theory, right? And obviously Benfica explained it, blah, 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 blah. There's a video of Neres holding on to his hamstring as he comes into the locker room. And here's my thing, right? The guy comes in with complaints about his hamstring into the locker room. Shouldn't you be preparing a possible sub already in the event? Right?
100%.
Goes into the locker
100%.
room, is evaluated by physio. Physio says, "How you feeling? Okay, I think I'm okay. Right before they were about to come out, Ned says, "I'm not okay." Then
because he cooled off. He's sitting down. He cooled off, and it tightened up.
You switch to Rafa. Rafa's on the bench now. Rafa has to get himself prepared to play the game. It just looks amateurish. I mean, if you feel that the guy, there's a possible problem, and I mean, we're not talking about a bang on your knee or a bruise on your thigh. I mean, you're talking about a possible muscle injury, which is what he was complaining about. Why wouldn't you have Rafa warming up at the same clip as Tino and Cabral that warmed up for real at halftime because they were going to come in and they did come in? Why wouldn't you have Rafa just as a precaution? As a precaution, have Rafa warm up during the halftime. If Neres is good, fine. Rafa goes back on the bench. If Neres is not good, Rafa is more than prepared and up to speed and warm to come in the second half. And I think that's where, regardless of whether that excuse is valid, and I don't know why the club would say
I don't buy it.
That an excuse. But look, we've also seen things throughout the season in terms of the way the club communicates that what makes you kind of want to things that make you want to go, right? So it was one of those things that, I thought it was very fishy. Obviously, everybody got on it with the fact that Rafa wasn't even prepared and he came on, he wasn't even warm, blah, 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 blah. But in the second half,
I wasn't. I'm being serious. I know you guys gonna think I'm stupid, but when I saw stupidis, when I saw that dysfunction going on, right? I swear, I found nothing off with it. I'm being serious.
This is par for the course. That's what you thought, Chris.
I'm not Alfredo. I swear. You know me when I'm trying to be a clown, trying to be funny. I swear. To me, I'm just watching the game and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, look.
But for me, there's been a dysfunction all done, right? Because we've seldom criticized Roger Schmidt because of his substitutions or lack thereof, right? And now he's made a sub. So like again, it's just okay. It's just another stupid sub. Whatever the fucking reason is, whatever. Like it's. I swear, I just sat there like I didn't think nothing of it. I swear to God, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it just fell par for the course.
Yeah, man, he clearly has poor planning, dude. Yeah, I think I already said this in a bunch of other outlets. This guy has no plan B. I'm telling you, there's no plan B. There's plan A or plan Roger, like plan R, and that's it. And if you don't like my plan, you're not gonna play because this is my plan. Right. He does not have a plan B, man. Yep. Like, and the fact that it's not even making subs earlier, it's like planning possible subs, you know? Like they have a little booklet that they flip pages and they're like, all right, now this guy's going to come in and we're going to go to this page that we studied and we practiced. Yo, he's like, yo, you're going to go in, you're going to play in this area. Sometimes, look, and even these subs, look at who came in and came out and where they played. I was confused too, man. I was like, how many, like, so now we're going to go back to one forward. We haven't created, let's not put two, just one again. And then you take out, all right, Neres then fluid, and then Koksu comes out. Like, now who's gonna? I was like, what? I didn't get it, man. Like, we're not substituting player for position for position. It's odd, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and
I thought we were gonna score in the beginning of the second, though. We had chances.
In the beginning,
but that's what he does. But
he goes back to the drawing board.
No, but that's what he does. He goes position for position. Yeah, it's like it's not like, again, as you said, Chris, right? Because you just answered your own question. If you paid attention to yourself, Chris, you would have answered your question.
Sometimes I do.
Which is you said it right. The guy has one plan, and that's it. So like when the left winger comes out, he's putting a like for like.
Yeah.
When a striker comes out, why? Because nothing changes.
There's no read.
That's all he's set up for.
Yeah, there's no read.
It's
terrible.
You know, the biggest change he's done all years is putting Alsner's right back, left mid, forward, strike. The only thing he has done is put him at goalie. So I mean, that's the only adjustment he's had to do because everything else is just like for like.
Listen, man, he might have taken a page out of the Jorge Jesus playbook on that one because Jorge Jesus was the one that was playing people everywhere too. Remember that year? Dude, and he was the one that found Coentrão as a defender too.
Put some respect on George Jesus' name, all right, bro?
I didn't criticize.
Man.
I never used Jesus' name in vain.
Keep George Jesus' name out of your fucking mouth.
Carmex, bro.
No,
the greatest coach in 30-something years. The greatest coach in the last 60 years, not named Sven-Goran Eriksson, bro. Come on, still respecting George Jesus.
I have no issue with George Jesus in his first coming. The second coming of Jesus, I have many questions.
Yeah, but I don't want to turn this around again. But
no. Sorry.
But before you start blaming everything on Jesus, let me know what's gone right so far, with the exception of last year. Go ahead. Let me know what's gone right.
Look, I think
whether him.
Yeah, Cristiano. I think I mentioned.
Questa direção.
I mentioned.
Questa direção que eu tô dizendo.
I mentioned on one of the chats that we were on that the timing and the reasons behind George Jesus coming a second time we're all wrong. They're all with the wrong intentions, and I think that George Jesus fell a victim to a lot of that too. Election year, just buying these guys because you need to win the election. Brings George Jesus because he was loved by the people, thinking that he could replicate what he did. The timing was all wrong. The intentions were all wrong. The motives were all wrong. So in a way, I've kind of learned to live with that, and certainly use that as one of the factors why things didn't work out for George Jesus second time
that's
around.
why I said what I just said. I'll take away last year. Nothing's gone right, bro.
Aside from last year, the only thing that's gone right, it's not here, but I saw someone that wrote the only good thing about these two seasons was that we stayed in front of Porto both times.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah, but you know what? But you know what? That's acting. That like now you're being a hypocrite. And I'm not saying you. I'm saying.
Oh yeah, not me. No, I read it.
Whoever said that, well, when I say you, I mean him, right? Or whoever feels that way, you're being a hypocrite because you're doing exactly what we always blame and laugh at both of our rivals for doing. Is like, oh, you guys, as long as you're ahead of us, you don't care. You don't care where you're at. And now we're doing the same thing. No. Listen, I can give two shits about what our rivals do. I care about my club and I care about my Sport Lisboa Benfica. And I want my Sport Lisboa Benfica to be at the top of the table as much as possible, to be at the highest point that they can absolutely be, regardless of where our rivals are at. I don't care. I don't care. And so if you have that mindset, that okay, that's a successful season for you, then my man, then you don't know what a successful season is. I'm sorry, you're part of the problem.
Yep.
And when I'm not saying you, Chris.
Not
Let
me let me retake the game here so we could put a bow on this.
Sorry, we totally went off track on everything.
No, but it's okay. That's what we do here. So yeah, of course, and it won't be the last time either. But yeah, Benfica did start the second half with the changes a lot better, and then in the 71st, we had the Rafa tip. That almost tricked the keeper. We had the Jonev shot, the blast that made its way through all the legs, and the goalie saved it. We had the Di Maria hit the post. So we had a few chances, and then in the 71st minute, we give up that goal. Trubin beaten in the near post. I don't think he saw the ball take off. I think he was a little bit screened. I also think that he was looking for a far post shot, which is the typical movement. You turn inside and you curve it to the far post. But I mean, what are you guys feeling on Trubin? If there was hype on him when he got to Benfica, it certainly calmed down, and I don't think anybody's knocking on the door to take Trubin away.
Well, I'll go first, Chris, because I'm the one to blame, because I'm the one that suggested Benfica sign him last year on our buy, keep, sell, loan, whatever. I said go buy Antonio Trubin, and they did. And I'll be frank, I was very excited when Benfica bought him, and initially he showed very good signs. Very good. I mean, not initially, because I believe his first game, they'll say you mal, and there was the goal because he came out bad, and a lot of people criticized him. But after that, he got
on the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Then after that, he got his feet under him, and he showed promise. I mean, he had phenomenal performances. I go back to that last second shot by I forget his name now, from Braga, where it's basically a tie game, and Trubin gets it with his, I don't know how the ball just glued to his fingertips. So he had some performances that were top notch, but I would say for the later part of the season, been a little bit disappointed. Game against Porto was a little weak. Against Sporting was weak. He's had his mishaps. So I do hope that he works on that. That's part of being a young goalkeeper. You're gonna go through those mistakes. You're gonna go through those ups and downs. I hope that next season he rebounds. But yet, I think he went from being very exciting to, I don't want to call it disappointment, but a little sour taste. You're not as excited as you were at first.
I'm still excited for him. Go ahead, Chris. What's your take on Trubin?
So I'm gonna be honest. I think I came on in one of the first shows of the season. I think even the one after the Boavista loss and everything. I mean, I didn't like the whole novella with Odysseus. I didn't like how it went. I didn't like the vibe of it and how they let him go. I was excited for Trubin also. I didn't dislike Odysseus. He had his problems, coming out, but he was solid within the post. Trubin has his issues because of his height. I mean, I think he already had like 3 or 4 goals Cueca style, and first post even more. But I think he came in with a lot of hype. He came in with a lot of pressure. To be honest, he didn't start right away. We know that Samuel played a bunch of games, and even he given a lot of pressure. I think that Trubin has a lot of potential. I think that he should stay, definitely. I mean, I don't see why not. But I think that he just feels insecure a lot. I can tell that he does have great reactions. I know the save that Chris is talking about. He had 2 other saves that game that were amazing. But I just think that sometimes looking at, I'm big on facial expressions, man. I'm looking at players' faces and how they react to their errors, to their positives, and I don't even see him celebrate big saves often, and that kind of like, I don't know if it shows me that he is not feeling confident in his gameplay, if he's doesn't have the confidence of his defense in front of him. I don't know. And I hope that he gets rid of that and that he can celebrate his saves, that he can make a mistake and recover from it.
It's a lack of confidence. If you recall, Chris, when he made no, I'm gonna let you finish. Hold on. Yeah. When he made I think it was after a game that he saved the penalty and Benfica won the game, and he came out with he put a post on Instagram. Yeah, he was talking about how finally I feel like I belong. Like he had his doubts, and maybe that started to creep back into. So it's probably lack of confidence.
And he saved the PK after that too, right? Wasn't it the game immediately after that? He saved another PK, and then it was
something like that. Yeah. And he was like, I no longer have doubts. So.
Right. He said something along those. And even this game, man, after this first goal went in, dude, like he made a lot of mistakes too, in passes, positioning. Like he seemed like he was totally out of it right after that. Like he was blaming himself for the goal going in, which it was a wicked shot, but I did expect it to go to the other post too. You know, I mean, being your goal is not an easy task. You're the last line, and everyone wants to put the ball past you. But man, I think it's just a little bit of the lack of confidence creeping back up. But I think the whole team was just very nonchalant, man. They did try to score. I don't want to take that away from them, but after that first goal went in, like, I don't know about you, but I felt like we were going to get scored on again. I didn't think we were going to tie the game. I'm going to be honest, and I hate that feeling when I see my team that I love, right? The emblema that I support. And I'm like, dudes, man, prolong this celebration. Don't let these guys win right now. Like, give it another week and let them win it at home, if anything. But, man,
the players tuned off. After that goal, the players they went to the on-off switch and they just tuned it off. It was
dude, I don't know how this game is going to go next weekend, man. I wouldn't want to be in that stadium. It's going to be a rough situation.
Yeah, no, a couple things that I wanted to mention. I think Trubin, in a way, kind of, he's a little bit of he got foi contagiado by the team's psyche in this final stretch of the season. How the team was very in a very fragile state of mind, because anytime they suffered a goal, you saw the team really, really feel suffering that goal. And the same thing, what you guys were just talking about, allowing this 1-0, and the team just like right down. The team came right down. And I think a lot of players have gone through that throughout the season, where they went through a good period, and I'm talking about Trubin in specific. He went through a good period, then the team as a whole was not having a good time, and I think that he just got dragged down, and now he's just part of that group of players that there's very few players that we could say, yeah, that guy had a great season, was consistent. No, we see a lot of players that had on and off seasons. I mean, you're talking about Otamendi, you're talking about Rafa, especially. He's the poster child for inconsistency.
Otamendi on defense.
But I think that he in a way,
Otamendi these last couple of games.
Yeah, in a way, he got pulled in by the team's insecurities and by the team's psyche, and I think that's where he's at. He's still extremely young for a goalkeeper, and as somebody was saying here, I forget who. Diogo Reis. Trubin's still young. Sviladi's 24. Became a Roma starter in February, and by all accounts will be their starter going forward. Yeah, I think that the sweet spot for a goalie, it starts being at the 25, 26 age, and then they'll run it through probably 35. The good guys stay that late. But yeah, I'm happy with what Trubin brought to the team, especially this game with his feet. And he's a young man that needs to grow. He needs to make the mistakes. He needs to learn. But here's the other thing also, because I've heard this and I've read this, that a lot of people did not see the evolution in Trubin from the time that he started, and they feel that kind of goes back to coaching. Because if he's being well coached, there's a good reason that we could see Trubin evolving throughout the season, becoming more mature of a goalie. I don't know how accurate that is, but certainly we have seen Trubin that's kind of gone downhill with the rest of the team.
And let's let's not forget to add on to, which probably at the end of the day is the ultimate reason why we're talking about lack of confidence, lack of, what's the word, bro? Getting better. Like what you just said, the word you use off right now. I'm watching the Rangers, and in my mind is at two places at the same time.
Oh,
But
of a progression,
let's not
you know.
progression. Let's not forget that he's from a country that is going through
That
a
too.
very
That
difficult
too.
time, as we all know, war, and he's probably had he has family.
Yeah.
In terms of where his mind is at times, like Gildali, he's like me. I'm here watching the Rangers. I'm here, but I'm not. It's kind of like the same situation, just 100,000 times more serious. Which the guy's thinking about his family, his loved ones, stuff like that, man. So it's probably it's been difficult for him adjusting and adapting to a whole new culture, a whole new country while going through all that. Nonetheless, he's had moments where he's brilliant. He's had moments where he's not so brilliant. But yeah, I don't want to give away anything from our last buy keep sell podcast of the season. But yeah, he's a guy that I'm not yet calling for him to be going anywhere. I'd
No,
expect him to be here
no,
for a little while.
and I don't think anybody is. But just to just to
No.
finish out, 85th minute, Benfica gives up the second goal by Famalicao, a pass by Tino that was intercepted, and then they were on goal on a breakaway with no challenges, and they ended up going up to nothing, and that's how the game would finish. But yeah, it's just again Roger Schmidt not understanding and not reading the game, because after those 16, 17 minutes that Benfica was there and was looking for the goal, Famalicão did make some changes. They started exploring behind Di Maria's back. They started forcing the mismatches against Auschwitz and against Carreras. It's again, it's Mr. Hands in the pocket, not being able to understand what the tweaks that need to be made, what the adjustments need to be made, and that's the story that we have seen all season. Another loss.
Temos de ter calma com o gajo.
O gajo vai aprender.
His mind is his mind is in Bayern Munich. You know what I'm saying? He's on his way to
I
Bayern
wish.
Munich. The guy, he's over there from Famalicão, a 5,000 seater. Thinking about look at Chris.
I think his Wi-Fi is.
Oh, okay.
I said, man,
But
I shouldn't think they calm. No, yeah. Can you?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
He's like Chris.
Dude, I shouldn't think they calm com ele, because ainda vais ter que you're gonna have to deal with him for another season.
We're not dealing with him again, guys. He's not coming back.
Okay, you heard it here first.
I already told Alfred, it's not no insider, no. It's just, guys, Rui Costa cannot go into a life or death situation with this, with this current situation.
Yeah,
he can't go into it like this, man, because God forbid, and I hope we're wrong, but God forbid we're sitting in November, right? And not even forget November, guys. The campionato starts second weekend of August. We're sitting here right before the international break in September, and Benfica's winning games, but it's 88-minute subs, and it's 2-1 games, and it's the same dull shit that we see week in and week out. Bro, the pressure, the fans are going to go berserk. And then, God forbid, if we are in November and now we're trailing our rivals by a nice margin and he has to make a change, the guy's not going to survive. I don't think Rui Costa is going to go to battle with this one guy. I think he's going to try to buy himself time. I think there's more likelihood that, I know some of you are going to kill me, but that there is a Jose Mourinho. Why? Because once he implements Jose Mourinho as a manager, he'll say to all you guys, if it doesn't work out, to all of us, right? That, hey, what are you talking about? I appointed the greatest manager of all time. What do you want me to do? You would have done the same. It's not my fault. You guys get what I'm trying to say here? So, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I just don't think that Roger.
No,
I don't think Roger.
Yeah, I agree with you. Come September, if you're not having a positive season, and then you make a move, then, because don't forget, in April or next year there's elections. right? So Rui Costa has to be very careful in the way that he goes about because he could put his election or his re-election at jeopardy if he doesn't make the right move, especially if there's a credible opposition that raises up from somewhere, right? We're not talking about Benitez. I don't think Benitez has the oomph to beat Rui Costa. But certainly, if there's a viable option up there that people could get behind, and there was a name today mentioned in the media, which I don't remember, but we'll get more into it as things develop. Because right now, I think it was just people throwing up shit up on the wall, and the media picked it up and they just went. But what I wanted to say, Rui Costa is faced with one of the biggest decisions of his presidency coming up, and you've heard us talk about that. But what I wanted to talk about, and before we move on, I wanted to talk about Otamendi's words in the Flash interview. And for those of you that did not see it, please go see it so you know what we're talking about here or later on. So Otamendi came out. The first thing he said, he apologized to the fans. He did say that the team didn't compete in the league, didn't compete in the other competitions, didn't compete in Champions League, didn't compete in Europa League, and he was deeply sorry, and he felt that this was on the team.
Lack of intensity.
All good. I'm good with that. What comes next is Otamendi saying that at times he was criticized by not showing face in times where the captain needed to step forward and really show face and represent the team. He said that the reason why he hadn't come to the flash interviews or even some of the pressers was because Benfica's communication barred them from coming. And I think this is very, very serious. We've spoken about Benfica's communication has been extremely deficient this season, but this is very serious. How do you not want to? You want to prevent your captain from coming out and speaking, the leader of your team on the field. You're preventing him from speaking out to the fans. Instead, we see the examples of Levaste 5 na peida no Dragão and the guy that you send to the presser as young João Neves. And at the time, we all thought that this is absolutely ridiculous. A captain needs...
His mother has just...
And on top of it...
Hold on. But that game, the decision by whomever decided to send João Neves was pitiful, right? But as far as Otamendi, he had gotten a red card, so he wasn't going to be able to partake in that anyway.
Right.
So
but that's game, that one example. Okay, but could have been João Mário.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Or Rafa. Been there the longest.
Yeah, but we know who the leaders are in the locker room, and it's definitely not Rafa is not a leader. I could tell you that. But the thing was that.
But if you're gonna go off a leader, João Neves is a leader, Antonio Silva is a leader, but those are young kids.
Chris, those are very young kids. Watch that B play show that they did last season, and you could tell exactly who were the guys that step up and talk to the group. And those guys are João Mário and Otamendi. Rafa is a bit of a clown. But what I wanted to say is that this is it goes along with everything that we suspected in terms of Benfica's communication. They have not helped the team. They have not helped Roger Schmidt. There's no way that somebody in the communication can't go and have a conversation. Hey, Roger, man, you can't say that a tie against Estoril that would have given you a place in the League Cup is an okay result. It's okay. It's acceptable. You can't say that. You can't say after an embarrassing loss against Porto, you can't say that you don't have to explain or ask for forgiveness from the fans. The Benfica's Department of Communication should have been on top of Roger Schmidt and telling him and coaching him and making him aware of the relationship between the coach and the fan base. Roger Schmidt didn't do himself any favors in terms of the way he communicated with the fan base. You can't tell fans, the guys that come to boo and to jeer, don't bother coming. You can't say that to fans.
No.
You can't say so I think that the Benfica's communication department there lacks, and I'll be.
It's a German thing, bro. It's a German thing. Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp just did the same thing this week.
But I think that
Jurgen Klopp is leaving.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I know.
Maybe
but
Roger
the
Schmidt
message
is
was
leaving
the
too.
same.
Oh, well, then that's different. Then he can't say. He just said 2 days ago that it was a positive season.
Yeah, top team, top game.
Top performance.
I was like, this guy's delusional. Whatever he's on, we need some of that supplied. You know, because it's working really well for him, man. Like, I don't understand. He said, let's say a positive season, something with our direct rivals. I'm like, dude, you have to be delusional, man.
Yeah. Diogo Reis is saying you guys think that Otamendi is doing this to save face because maybe he knows he's not coming back, and wants
Why
to
isn't
set the
Otamendi
record,
coming back?
and wants to set the
No,
record. He's got an option, right? He's got
back?
an option.
He's got one more year on his contract, just like Romario's got until 2026.
Is it an optional? It's an optional year, Chris, or it's a that's part of his contract.
From what I know, it was a two. I didn't hear anything about an option. Maybe it is, maybe not. I'm not going to say yes or no. As far as I know, it was a 2-year deal.
No, but I think that perhaps Otamendi felt that this was the time of the season that the championship has been handed over and it's done.
No, I don't think
that it was now is the time to him to speak up.
No, you know what I think? I think it was his first time that they let the dog loose, because he had the last time he was at one of these press conferences, or not. I don't want to call it press conferences, but
flash
interviews. He said
we're playing like shit.
He said we playing like shit, and then
he got cut off. He got blackballed
for months. And so today was the first, like today, the other day was the first time he came back. So my man spoke. I don't think it has anything to do. I think Otamendi's one of those guys that he don't take shit from nobody.
No.
Right? And it was this, and again, call him what you want, but look, he's a captain. He follows the instructions. He follows whatever they tell him to do, right? He's not going to be a guy that's going to cause trouble. So the club was telling him not to talk, and he's not talking.
Right.
Then they told him to go talk, and he did. So
he's not going to talk next week. He's not going to talk next week.
Exactly. You're not going to hear him talk again now.
He's done.
Yeah, he's done talking. But yeah, my man spoke. That's it.
Yeah, let me.
Listen, man.
Go ahead.
That whole those flash interviews are ruthless, man. Especially to the team that loses. Like who wants to talk, man? Like these guys, they don't take courses in public speaking.
Yeah, they do, Chris.
They don't take courses in ethics.
They do.
They get some tips.
Chris, they do.
Man, they get minor training, dude. People go to school for like years to get a degree in that.
It's okay. They get paid handsomely. It's okay to answer 2-3 questions. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'll switch. I'll gladly switch.
Let me.
I'll switch.
Yeah, me too. I'll take me with, man.
Let me interrupt you guys real quick because we got to say goodbye to our Pama Media friends. Thank you for listening. If you want to continue listening to our podcast, you could catch it on all the aggregators. We got a little bit more to go, but thank you so much for listening, and we'll speak again next week. All right. Back
to
the
Zaddy, what's up? Everybody's coming in. Shiku's here, my man. Smash the like button. You're right, Shiku. Look, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna do it too. Hold on, I forgot.
Smash
to do
it, Chris.
There it is. I just did it.
Smash it, Chris.
I don't want to smash because I don't want to break my iPad.
All right. Turning our attention.
Careful with the communication department.
Turning our attention to the final home game of the season against Aroca. The game takes place this Sunday, 6 p.m. local. Dave, what's Aroca up to?
Dave's sleeping, bro.
I forgot Dave is not here. No, I did that on purpose. Aroca is currently 7th, still chasing 6th place. They're currently on a 6-game streak where they haven't tasted defeat. So a team that has nothing to lose, has nothing to play for, really. I think that either 7th place or 6th place, they're going to consider that a success for the season. They're going to come to Stadio Luge. They're going to be nice and relaxed. And I can't tell you guys, I really don't see this being a very comfortable game for Benfica, to be honest with you. Chris Libório.
Opa, vai ser passeio.
Passeio? You think so?
Para os outros. Vai ser passeio para as duas equipas. But they're both, no, I'm saying they're both, like you said, they both got nothing to play for. Win or lose, I think their spots in the league table is pretty much assured, right? It's just going to be one of those, okay, we got to do it because hey, we got to play every game in the schedule, right? I mean, I get the other guys will be a little bit more excited because they're playing at the start to lose, and it's what everybody looks forward to doing.
É tão bonito, é tão bonito.
Yeah, exactly. But the Benfica players, they're like, okay, let's just get this done. Now Roger Schmidt will probably do a full squad rotation. You'll see Samu in goal. You'll
I was just gonna say that.
You'll see Gouveia starting, shit like that. But
You think?
it's kind of it's bro, it's a filler. You have to fill the schedule, and that's it.
You think, Chris?
Listen, he did that last time. He did that last time with a middle week game, right? With the filler game between the Champions Leagues, right? The Champions League game. He did it.
We wish it was champion Europa. We wish.
Europa.
Oh, sorry, man. Eu tô ainda a pensar no passado, yo. 1960. But like he did it. I think he's gonna do it now. You know, he's not gonna put the same guys to avoid criticism. He already took him, dude. I don't know if you guys noticed that either. Did you see in this last game? I'm sorry to come back to the last game again. He told the whole team to go listen to the fans, man. Like they're like pissed off, dude. Like, what are you doing? You should have done that maybe the other game. Like, not this game, man. What these guys don't need this abuse. It's bad enough they just gave the trophy to somebody else.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
The team's already pissed off. I mean, the fans are already pissed off with the team. Why subject them to that? But certainly, I understand paying tributes to the traveling fans, right? Guys that spend a lot of money to go watch these games.
The ones throwing the flares over the stadium?
Right, yeah. And they haven't done that, dude. They haven't done that every game. There's been games that, like, not all the players go there. There's been plays that the coach doesn't go to, the traveling fans.
Yep.
Why go this? Like, to say thank you for coming and support us. It's almost like we knew we were going to lose. Thank you for coming anyway.
Like,
come on, man.
I see Roger Schmidt doing certain things that he's almost learning from mistakes. And it's odd. Like, we haven't done this all season. Now all of a sudden you're doing something that people kind of been clamoring for.
He still picks his nose every game, guys. He hasn't learned from his mistake.
Right.
He does this thing with his lips and his mouth sometimes too.
Exactly. He looks like Pete.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, this guy's pondering something genius, and then it's like minute 88, and I'm like, damn, when is this?
And he brings on Casper, right? Something genius, and he brings on Casper to go. He's like, yeah,
he's like, that guy that I used in all the Europa League games and Champions League, let me not play him again, but I'm gonna play him this game at the 89th minute.
Yeah,
it's gonna make the difference.
Bro, got to get his uniform dirty because he's probably got a sponsorship deal with the.
Yeah,
with the
I kept him.
company.
I sent the other one away. The other one's doing well. Now this guy's not doing well. I need to put him playing. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows, man? It's been that type of season of who knows. Nobody could really figure out what Roger Schmidt is up to because it doesn't make any sense. I mean, and he can't be that big of an incompetent.
Rui Vitoria to this. It's amazing. Benfica is always getting coaches that we're all clueless.
Yeah.
We all have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
I don't know. To Rui Vitoria's defense, he never had a squad like Roger Schmidt has had.
Yeah, but Roger Schmidt doesn't have a Jonas neither, so let's not forget.
True.
But whatever.
That's
right,
true.
continue.
Zeddy's.
Yeah, but he's trying to find the Jonas here. But he found the Jonas in a bunch of different countries, man. Well, Brazil was 2. He's looking for Jonas. He even got 2 from Brazil for the next Jonas.
Zeddy is saying that Oka will try to take advantage of the emotional spirit of Benfica squad. It will be a rough game, even more if they win by deserving it. I'm just curious to see what kind of send-off the crowd is going to have for this team, regardless of win or lose. I think that it's the end of the season. And look, there's a lot of guys that are they are of the mindset of I don't whistle the team during a game, but at the end of the game, I'm going to make myself heard. Whether I'm happy, whether I'm unhappy, I'm going to make myself heard at the end of the game because I feel that jeering and booing and whistling the team during a game is only going to put the team in a bigger hole. So I'm curious to see now that everything is over, that we've had the fiasco of the season that we've had with only the Super Cup, which I don't even consider that a real trophy. What this fan base is going to treat this team like. I'm very
It's
curious.
the second time I'm going to say this today. It's the second time I'm going to say this today. Because you just said something along the lines that Hugo said to me earlier today, right? And I'm like, because here you are saying that the morale, gets affected by the fans whistling and booing our own team. And it's like, many people criticize the Benfiquistas for sitting there and cheering and applauding this team when they were getting slapped 5-0 at the Dragão. And now we're criticizing those same people that were there when this team was at its lowest, right? For clapping. Now we're criticizing for whistling. I just think, look, at the end of the day, man, this is just, it makes no sense. Fans are fans. If a player, as I stated in previous, and I believe I've said this the last 3 podcasts I've been on, if a player on my team gets affected by someone whistling them and it really messes up with their morale, I don't want them on my team. You're not built for Benfica. And maybe that's the problem. A lot of these guys aren't built to play at Benfica. We want homens barbarija, bro. Like, you can't be. Look, I understand you're human and you might not like it. I get it. But you don't get paid to have feelings. You get paid to put the ball in the back of the net. That's it. Perform. You don't want to get whistled, guys? Put in the shift like João Neves does every single day. That guy doesn't get whistled. That guy doesn't get booed. That guy hears the whistling in the booth, and he doesn't go home and think, shit, were they booing me? Because he knows. Why? Because he knows he gave it 100% that game. Do the same thing. And then maybe you won't be as weak emotionally and mentally because the fans are whistling you. Go look at your bank account. You know what I mean? When you're down, look at your bank account and look at what you're doing for a living. And then, you know what I mean? Still go count and still go see if what you're going through is so rough.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I want to hear that.
Give yourself some perspective for sure.
Along those lines, man, like, this is where you perform. You perform on a stage and people are gonna watch it. People are gonna express.
Exactly. You signed up for this.
Paid a lot of money for it.
Yeah, they're gonna express their emotions. If anything, every single person sitting in those seats, opposing team too, they're paying your salary, man. So this is not like, and I think Roger Schmidt said it 1 or 2 times this year, something about the fans and supporting the players. Man, the fans are probably the most real aspect of this game. If the fans are upset and the entire fan base upset, not just, and I'm not talking about just Clarks, I'm talking about the fan base, from o avô, o filho, o pai que tá na classe, whatever. If everyone's upset, then something's wrong.
Yep.
And it's not just the players. Everyone needs to get on check.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to happen. I think the game in at home, I hope that they don't spend the whole game saying stuff, but I think people are going to manifest themselves in a way that Roger Schmidt might not like it. If he puts a team playing of, I don't want to call them youngins, but the ones that he quote unquote doesn't believe in, and they put on a good performance, I think the crowd is going to clap and is going to cheer, but they're not going to cheer for him, nor are they going to cheer for the fact that he put in 11 new players, because that's almost expected that he's going to do that. He's not doing anything new.
Yep.
He's going to do it. It's done. So they're going to be cheering on the players. And then he's going to come, these are the fans that we need for next year. BS, man. He's just going to make the narrative. I think he makes the narrative fit his road.
Yep.
If he can manipulate the narrative to fit whatever he's thinking, because he is enigmatic, man. He's not pragmatic. My man is enigmatic. I don't know what he does sometimes. He convinced me last year. I said this a million times, because he brought something new. The players were aggressive. They pressed on the ball. But, man, I don't know if you guys agree with me, too. This year, he changed his style of play completely, too. Is it just because you lose Grimaldo and Gonçalo Ramos that now you can't play anymore? I don't get it.
I disagree, Chris. I told you at the beginning of the show. I disagree. I don't think he changed his style, Chris. It was the same exact system.
Man.
The problem is that you don't have a Gonçalo.
Same system,
Yeah,
not the same players.
Right.
Bro, he tried to fit round pegs into square holes. I mean, he wanted to play like he did last year, but wait, you don't have an Enzo who's gone, and you could tell the team's productivity totally dropped once he left. But even going forward, right, we're still able to win enough games to win the Campeonato. But sticking with that, you don't have a Gonçalo Ramos, right?
Yeah. You don't have a Grimaldo.
You don't have a Grimaldo. So again, Gonçalo Ramos, a player that I criticize at times as well. I have no problem admitting it, but he did all these little things. He did which I didn't even see Tankstad doing, but he did what Tankstad was supposed to do, and he scored goals.
Yep.
And now this year's team was totally different. As I said to you before, Chris, this year's roster screams 4-3-3, and he just did not want to change. So yeah, Chris, nothing changed. He he expected these players to do miracles all of a sudden.
Yeah, dude, but look, and I totally all right. And how many chances did he have to get this right, man?
So many times.
Keep up. All these plays, dude.
At least, like, let me see. 30, what do we play? 34 games?
30,
so at least 32 in the campeonato, and he still hasn't got it right.
And how many players did you buy? How much money did you spend? Dude, you never got it. Dude, you didn't get one position right from the ones that you lost. Which one did you get right? If you want to talk about those three.
Struven.
Yeah, but
and even he,
the three positions: Enzo, Ramos, and Grimaldo.
Who did he get right?
No, he didn't get it. No,
he got that off. You guys won that.
And here's the thing, right?
We were playing last year, man. I mean,
yeah,
let's not forget. Hold on, last point. I'll be quiet. Let's not forget. He only started playing João Neves once Chiquinho disappeared because he was given the spot to Sheik Zan.
Yeah,
Sheik Zan.
And here's the thing: in so many games, the team just asked for him to help the team. Help us, Roger Schmidt, help us, because we're clearly struggling with the instructions and the game plan that you've devised that now has changed a little. The other team has changed a little bit. We need some help. We need some assistance. We need some direction in order to be able to overcome this obstacle that the team is now presenting to us. So many times he's had that situation where the team is screaming for help and he's hopeless. He's hopeless on the sideline.
Look. He's like,
yeah, he's thinking with his hands on his pocket. What could he be thinking?
I don't know, dude. But listen, I'm gonna make a comparison here. I know that, and out of our league, but I put Roger Schmidt. He has a twin brother. He's in England. He's coaching Man U. But he's another one. Like, they make questionable things, man. And like, if you see what's happening there, they're losing the fan base too, man. People are upset. People don't know what's going on. They're going to the stadium.
Yeah, but that goes very deep. It goes beyond Ten Hag.
But it's a little different. Because they've been going through this. They've been going through this for a while. Right. So the fans are a little bit more fed up than ours. I think, to answer Alfredo's question more directly, which is what Roger Schmidt, what must he be thinking is he's got his hands in his pocket. Estou a viver em Lisboa, solzinho do caralho todos os dias, vou comer peixinho fresco, aqui chileando. I mean, that's the dude's thinking. Like, who wouldn't want to live here? If you love football, you love Lisboa.
If you love Lisbon, you love carapaus.
Yeah, you love fish. I mean, that's what he's thinking.
I'm telling you one thing, man. His master plan was getting that contract renewed, man, and extended.
I don't, but Liborio, I'll say this: it wasn't even his fault. I don't even think he was asking for a renewal, and this was another amateurish move by Rui Costa. I understand the context, but it speaks to his inexperience as a president. Luis Felipe Vieira, and I hate to bring him up, he never does he never renews the contract with Roger Schmidt at the timing that Rui Costa did. But I do understand the context. But anyway, let's wrap this up. I don't know, Cristiano. I know that I don't know if you have anything else to say, Oliveira.
My boy Del Trap left, yo, e agora é só isso que der. É só que tenho a dizer, pá.
I just want to, before we go and also say goodbye to Liborio, congrats to the women's basketball team who clinched the national championship. The men's volleyball, as I mentioned at the top, pentacampeonato. And the women's football team are only one win away from their third.
You campismo.
Esses caras também já ganharam, mano. Esses caras já ganharam.
Ei, não,
levantaram a tenda e já está.
we've hit rock bottom here on the Benfica podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Chris,
We
I think that a
we gotta
pentacampeonato.
celebrate these
A
victories.
pentacampeonato in volleyball, that's impressive, bro.
but I don't think for 1 second when Alfredo Fumasas was in his basement in his underwear, thinking about starting a podcast, speaking Povnek, we ever thought, vou falar do voleibol do Benfica. I mean, it's great for the club. It really is. It's great for the people that do follow. But the fact that we're here on the Benfica podcast, which is related 99.999%, except this time, to football. And we're talking about
Chris, it can't be all bad news, man. We got to sprinkle in a little bit of happiness there.
I know.
It was just a little plug. It was just a little plug. Eu não tá a falar estupidez. Eu não tá a falar estupidez, huh?
You want good news. I mean, you want more good news than there's 2 games left on this ridiculous season? That's great news.
I wish there was 1 game left.
Yeah, and not at home.
Not at home.
Para mim já é. Cristiano Libori joined us in today, filling in for Dave de Oliveira. Cristiano has a show every week on Facebook Live. Him and a Sportingista, a Braga guy, a Portista. It's called Goal In. Please go check that out on Facebook Live every Monday from 8 to 9, Chris, or 8 to whenever.
Yeah, it's from 8 to 9:30, sometimes 10. Depends. If we talk about volleyball and other modalidades, it goes a little longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but make sure you.
No, my guys, thank you for the invite, dudes. Always a pleasure being here, man. You guys are awesome, and it's fun. We speak in Portuguese on Monday, then we come over here. We go with the English. It's just to show a grandeza do Benfica, man. That in all languages.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I didn't want to jump in, but Alfredo said it's called Goal In. I'm like, Goal In, and then you speak in Portuguese. That's what I was gonna ask. That's the name.
Yeah, we throw people off with that, baby.
You did. You threw me off.
Now Goal In.
If you look really quick, it's almost like Gulinho. You're like, oh, is that a Gulinho? No, it's a Goal In.
Hilarious.
Maybe that's how you say. Maybe that's how you say goal in German, Roger Schmidt. Goal in.
Oh my
goal
God!
In.
Do not finish the program with this guy's name.
No, let's finish the program with Marcel Matz. Cristiano, you know who Marcel Matz is?
Yes.
All right.
How could I not? It's all Benfica to talk about on Twitter lately. There's nothing to talk about. Guys, campeão, bro. Brazuca, assim é que é, meu amigo. Galera, beleza.
All right, everyone. That's all we got. Thank you for checking us out. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks. We'll be back next week. We'll recap the Aroca game. We'll look ahead to the season's curtain caller against Rio Ave. Thank you very much. See you.